Hello and welcome to my channel. I'm Cindy. I blog at DIYBeautify.com where I love to inspire you with easy and affordable DIY projects and home decor. And today I can't wait to share with you these shabby chic hearts that I made for Valentine's Day. So before we get into the project, please make sure that you hit that subscribe button so that you will be able to get all my DIYs. And go ahead and ring the bell too, so you'll get notified when I put up a new video. So every good project starts with a great inspiration piece. And my inspiration piece is this throw that I purchased off Etsy a couple years ago. It's a chenille throw, but what really gets me is the edge. Do you see it? It's just thin cotton sheeting, ruffled a little bit at the edge, and I love how shabby it looks. So I wanted to recreate some hearts for my Valentine's decor this year. I'm going just really neutral and a little bit of blush pink. Now this isn't a project that I found online and that I'm recreating. This is something that kind of just popped into my head one day and I just couldn't get it out, so I decided I needed to figure out how to make these shabby hearts. And I'm going to show you the finished product. Isn't that cute? The back of it has white felt, and these really are not expensive or hard to make. They're a little bit tricky, but I'm going to walk you through that process. So what you need for this project, you're going to need an old white cotton sheet. Make sure it's cotton. I raided my linen closet and grabbed this one. Actually, I had bought this from Goodwill a few years ago. That's what we're going to use to make the ruffle. And I just gave it a good wash so it was fresh and clean, so I don't have to worry about my project down the road. But see that hem at the end? The best way to make strips of, now this is a queen size sheet, so my strip is really long and I didn't end up using all of it. You might try a twin, it doesn't really matter. In fact, you could probably even just use a pillowcase if you don't have a sheet. You just may have to cut more strips. Now I like to, this is how I cut all my fabric. I don't cut all the way down the fabric, unless obviously I have to cut a shape. But when I just need a strip or a piece of it, this is what I do. I snip the end so that I snip through that hem. Are you ready for it? I tear it all the way down. And what this does is it makes a perfectly straight strip of fabric that is the exact same size on the front, the beginning, as at the end. Perfect, and it took me 2 seconds to tear that strip. You may have a few little threads hanging off, just pull those off and you're good to go. So you're going to need some strips of cotton. You're also going to need lots of glue. I'm not going to bother showing you my glue sticks. You're going to need scissors. Now I went ahead and I cut out a template just of cardboard. Well, it's not cardboard, it's scrapbook paper. I cut out a heart template. And the easiest way to do that is to cut a square of paper, fold it in half, but don't press the fold, just hold it, and then go ahead and cut your heart shape. Okay, so that's my template. Then I cut out, from that same cotton sheeting, I cut out my hearts, okay? And don't worry about wrinkles. Like, I think the more wrinkles just makes it look shabbier, so we're not gonna iron those out. We're gonna leave those as is. I also cut some hearts for the back out of felt. Now you could use the sheeting again, it doesn't really matter. I just thought this would give it a little bit of a cozy feel on the back. And then you're also going to need some of this stuff, polyester fiber fill. You need very, 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 very little for the hearts. So before we get started, let me just tell you what I did wrong the first time, because I was trying to figure this out. And I mean, a heart is a simple shape, but it's not a simple shape when you are trying to match the edges of it. So for the first one I made, And this actually isn't filled. Can you see the bottom? It doesn't actually look bad on camera, but I don't like how long it is because I started gluing my ruffle right at one of the bottom edges, and I glued it all the way around, and when I got to this end I realized that unless I kept going and brought the ruffle down to the end of this one, I was gonna be left with like a gap at the end of my heart that didn't have a ruffle. So I'm gonna use it anyway, but you can see with this one, it's more rounded at the bottom because I started gluing it on the edge. So I'm going to show you exactly how to do that. All right. So what you're going to do is you're going to start with one of your cotton hearts, and I'm going to tilt my phone so you can see exactly what I'm doing. Okay, so I have my cotton heart and I have my long strip all ready to go. And I found it easiest to start near the end, like I said, and then I'm gonna go this way and all the way around. And we're gonna just cover the heart with a ruffle. The thing that's a little bit tricky is getting the cotton sheeting to ruffle. What I was doing that I found easiest was sort of before I put glue on my heart, I was kind of creating a little bit of a pleat, and then I was putting a little bit of glue. What's the deal here? And then gluing that like that. Now this ruffle, to mimic my throw, the ruffled part is actually going to be on that front of the heart. And if you have any little spots that pop up, just do a dab of glue and stick them back down. Okay, so we're working in little tiny sections here. So before I even put the glue on my heart, I'm ruffling a little bit more of the fabric, adding a little inch or so of glue, inch and a half. Now it's hard to keep this going all the way, and it doesn't have to be perfect. If it's slightly less ruffled in one spot, I'm not going to worry about that. That's actually perfect for shabby chic decor because it's not about perfection. So I'm getting very, very close to the tip. And I'm going to do a little glue the other way. And then I want to bend my fabric around that edge. This is not an exact science, and you may find an easier way to do this. What I'm trying to do is basically put the glue in the same spot distance-wise, which gives me a little bit of a guide to work from as I'm gluing my fabric on. So again, just slight pleating and ruffling with my fingers. A little bit of glue. And then I sort of open up that pleat or that ruffle a tiny bit as I glue it down. You can see that it's not completely even, but that's fine. It's exactly what I want. This little guy needs a little more glue. I don't know why my hot glue is coming out kind of orange. I think that I think it's rusting a little bit. Maybe time to get a new hot glue gun. All right. So we're just going to keep gluing this. It does get a little bit more tricky when we get to the center of the heart and we have to make that sharp turn. See, I've already abandoned the pleats. You just want to make sure that you're putting it on in a somewhat even pattern. You want to keep the integrity of the heart shape. Once we're done all the ruffling, you want it to look like this one does. You want it to look still like a heart. So I'm going to keep on going. Okay, so I'm getting right to the point of the top point of my heart, and I just want to create a little bit of a overlap with the ruffle. So I am with my finger just holding it in place while I make that corner. I don't know if you saw that, but it's not going to matter all that much as long as you do make that corner with the ruffle. Of course, if you like to sew, I would just go ahead and pre-ruffle your cotton fabric on the sewing machine. That would make it much, much easier to glue it on when it's already ruffled. Or you can buy look for some ribbon or some eyelet that's ruffled from the store. I just find it hard to find. This is, I believe, I cut this into 3-inch wide, and it's not easy to find ribbon that wide at the store. Plus, it's going to cost a lot more than a sheet that you found in your linen closet and ripped up, right? It's a little bit finicky. You're just trying to keep your ribbon from like rolling on you. And you're trying to pick the glue off your fingernails. But I think it's worth it. We're almost done. When we get close to the end here, we are going to slightly overlap our ribbon, just so that we don't have an empty space. Okay, so I'm going to go ahead and cut, because if I ruffle it to there, just kind of figure out with your fingers how much excess you need. Okay, and then go ahead and cut that excess off. So I was left with a strip about like that. And I'm just going to finish this up here. I may actually need to cut a little more off. No, I think we're good. Okay. So remember, this is the front of the heart. The front shows all the, it just almost gives it a double ruffled look because we didn't glue it completely at the edge. If we look at the back, that's pretty too. It looks more machine sewn, I guess. And if you like that, then definitely make that your front. But I'm going to flip it over again. So this is the back of my heart, and I'm going to grab the felt heart that I cut, which is the exact same size, and I used the same template. It's just cut out of white felt. And I'm gonna glue it so that my pen mark is on the inside. So just lay it in place. Now we're gonna leave a little section about this big on this side to stuff it. So I'm gonna hold it in place, just lift up a little bit of it, attach the glue around the edge, and just go ahead and glue the whole thing. I love that this project is no-sew. There's no setting up the machine and messing with thread. Okay. Just gonna hold it in place for a minute. You can see I left a little opening here. It's not very big, but we don't need it to be very big. All right, so got my back and my front. So let's turn it to the back again. Oops. And we're going to very, very, very oh so lightly stuff it. So I'm taking just, I guess, a piece that would fit in my hand. And I like that these bags come with a little tool to help you poke it in, get it where you want it to go. So I'm just gonna poke that piece into the corner. I'm gonna take another little bit of stuffing and poke it into this corner. And as you're adding the stuffing, just feel with your fingers for any like large gaps. Like I said, this is really lightly stuffing this. We just want a tiny little bit of movement to it. We don't want to overstuff it because we're not making a pillow. Although this would be a really cute pillow too if you made it a little bit bigger. All right. And just a little bit more on this edge over here. Okay, so it is lightly stuffed. I can feel that there's stuffing that feels even. I don't have a big blob somewhere. And I'm going to go ahead and just hot glue. You can see my opening. I'm going to hot glue that closed. So to make some hanging strips for these hearts, I'm just taking another piece that I had pre-cut, and I'm going to cut a couple of smaller strips. So I'm snipping the end, and then I'm ripping it all the way to the end. And you're gonna find there's some threads that are coming off because you've got a frayed end. Just take your finger down it and pull some of those off. I'm gonna find the center of my strip just by hanging it. And I'm going to turn my heart over, and I'm just going to apply a little bit of glue right at the back here. See where I'm showing you? A little bit of glue right here to hang my heart from. So I'm going to go ahead and finish these off and put them up in my home, and I can't wait to show you what they look like.